Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner with the DeKalb County Library System. And I have a confession to make. This is a redo. I've done this tutorial before, just a few days ago. And when I went to play it back and make sure everything was okay, I had no audio, no sound at all. Just me going. So I need to do it again. That's okay. It's what we're going to do is an ethnic inspired piece. We are in the midst of the Doris K. Wells Festival. So I wanted to do at least one, what I call a statement piece, something that will start up a conversation and people will want to know where you got it and how you did it, or if you really made that. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a nice necklace that has some beautiful, beautiful painted wood beads. I've used these before with great success. I love them. I think they're beautiful. Just a nice little selection of these painted wood beads. And all we need are those beads. Oh, and we're going to use some contrast beads. One of the advantages of having to do this again is that I kind of gave me the opportunity to rethink my design. And whereas before I was using just all of the painted beads, I thought about it and started to kind of rework it a little bit and discovered that I also like a little bit of contrast in not only color, but size. So I've added in some smaller wood beads as well. These are pine wood, if I'm not mistaken, and they're just so pretty. So we're going to combine those with our painted beads, some chain, really nice cable chain, 22 gauge wire, a jump ring, and a lobster clasp. That's it. Beads, chain, wire, lobster clasp, and jump ring. That's all you need to make this lovely statement piece. And I know it's lovely because, again, I've done it before. So we're going to use our regular pliers, round, square, or flat, or chain nose pliers, depending on the brand that you buy. That will tell you what they call it, and it also has a little bit to do with the size of the jaw of your plier and cutters. So just your standard pliers, nothing fancy schmancy required. And you need a ruler. Notice I have not taken my rulers apart. We need a ruler to measure our wire and our chain. We're going to be doing a nice little, very simple weaving pattern. And I've seen it done before with beading string and beading wire, but not with our artisan wire or artistic wire. But I wanted to use that because I wanted to make it into a beaded bar. So let's get down here and get started on our piece so that we can see how it turns out. Okay, I have all of my little components here, and all I need to do is measure out 1 yard of 22 gauge wire. It may not take that much, but it's better to have more than you need than too little. Let me straighten this out a little bit. And it's a little crinkled. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so get my, ooh, stop it. Let's roll that back up. A yard of wire here. Get my wire rolled back up on the spool. Okay. Get that out of my way. All right, and the first thing that I'm going to do is take my yard of wire and I'm going to bend it almost in half. Not quite, because I need to make a loop. So I'm going to go ahead and bend it almost in half. I'm going to have one side about an inch longer than the other on the tail. And then I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to make a loop. This is the long side. Need to remember that. Okay. So I'm going to make a little loop. I'm just going to use my fingers. It doesn't have to be with your pliers unless you just want to use your pliers, but I want it to be a nice size. There we go. And it's 22 gauge, so it's really easy to manipulate. You can also use 20 gauge. I wouldn't go any smaller than that, but I wanted to use this artistic wire because it's nice and flexible. And once I get my beads done and my weaving done, I can shape it into any shape I want. All right, so now I've got my loop and I'm going to, which was my long tail, there it is. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom here. Yeah, let's make it a little smaller. There we go. And then I'm going to take one side and I'm going to wrap it around the stem of the other side. Just going to give it 3 good wraps. Let me move this out of the way. Too much stuff sitting here in your line of vision. One more. There we go. So now I have a nice wrapped loop. And what I'm going to do is pick up my first bead, which in my case is going to be, let's see, this one's a little longer than the other. That's okay. I'm going to pick up one of my solid beads or whatever your contrast bead is going to be. And I'm going to slide that over both my wires. All the way. I'm so sorry. I should have turned my phone off. All the way up to the top where my wrap is, like so. And I'm going to open my wires up a little bit. And I'm going to put on one of my painted wires on painted beads on one wire and one on the other wire. Slide them down like so. And I'm going to grab another of my solid ones. And one of the reasons I'm using wooden beads, not only because they are so pretty, but because they have nice large drilled holes and that I can make sure I can get both of my wires through. So I put my bead through one of the wires and I'm going to take the other wire and I'm going to feed it through going in the opposite direction. Then I'm going to pull my wires until my bead is resting down with the other beads. You have to manipulate it a little bit. Let's get a good tug. There we go. Nice and snug. And I just maneuver my beads until they're resting the way I want them to look. So there's one. Then I'm going to go on and I'm going to grab 2 more of my printed beads, one on one wire. If I can't get it through one way, I put it through the other. That's the other thing about wooden beads. They might be drilled. You might have little remnants of wood on the inside of the hole there. And then grab another one of my contrast beads, put it through one of the wires, and then the other goes in the opposite direction. And in case you're wondering, you do not have to go right, left all the time. You can, you don't have to. It's still going to turn out the same way. So there's my second set of clusters. Or my second cluster, I guess I should say. Let's grab another one of these pretty painted beads, put it on one wire, another one on another wire, one of my solid ones over one wire, and then feed the other one in the opposite direction. And you can see where I'm going with this. This is the entire design. Very repetitive, very easy to do. You can do it without thinking too much. Here's my third cluster. I have another couple of beads. One over one wire, one over the other wire. Solid bead over one wire, then bring the other wire back through the opposite way and pull. Yes, it's starting to take shape and form. Very nice. Let's get one of these orange ones. Okay. And oops, get back here. I need to go back through the other way. And pull. And the shorter the wire gets, the easier it is to do this, of course, because you have less distance to pull your wire. Okay. Let's put you on, and you on, and you on. And go back this way. And another bead. Let's put it on this one, since the other side has an orange one. Grab that. Another bead. See, it gets to the point where you don't even have to think. All you need to do is put one bead on one wire, another bead on the other, the next wire, and then slide your smaller bead over both wires. Now, what we're doing here is I'm using 8mm, oh, I lost one, 8mm wooden beads. That's the size of my, that's the size of my pattern wooden beads, and my contrast beads, my solid colored beads, are 7mm or 6mm. Yeah, 6mm. And that way I have a little bit of contrast. Before, I was just using all of the tug, tug. I was just using all of the patterned beads, which is gorgeous, but this gives it a little more depth, I think. Okay. On. And two of these wires through my bead. Give it a nice little pull. See how much easier it gets when the wire is shorter? And there we go. There we go. And my last little solid bead. You know what? I think I'm going to make it a little tiny bit longer. I'll use this. I want my necklace to be 18 inches. Well, this is probably long enough. But I still think I'm going to make it a little, I'm going to give it one more cluster. Just one. Partly because I have so much wire left and I hate to not use it. I mean, come on. Okay, so let me get a couple more of these little beads out here. And one more you guys, one more yous guys. There we go. And, oops, stop that. My bead and my bead. And my bead goes over one side. Oops. Over one wire. And the other wire goes through the other way. Now, I'm still thinking I should add another one. What do you think? I really don't want it to be too long. The last one. I think I'm going to add one more cluster. I said that last time. Let's see. Let's see what I end up with. Oh, here we go. It's about 7 inches. Let's see how much my last one was. Yeah. I'll get one more cluster. One more little old cluster. Okay. Another one of these nice little beads. And don't you just love designing as you go? I know I do. It's kind of fun. Okay, 2 more of those. Put you on one side, the other side. Grab my, now I'm finishing. I'm not adding any more clusters. I absolutely will not. So my finishing is, after I've got my last 2 patterned beads on, one on each wire, is I pull my wires together and I finish exactly the way I started, by putting my one bead through both wires going in the same direction. There we go. Now at this point, now is a good time to go through and look at your wires, see if anything needs to be pulled up any tighter or loosened or anything like that. If you want it tighter, go ahead and make it tighter. This is the time to do it. Make those adjustments. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Isn't that going to make a gorgeous, gorgeous necklace? Okay, let's just see, shall we? And now I need to make a wrapped loop. See how much I had left? I have a whole foot of, oh my goodness. I hate wasting it. The only good thing about having this much wire left, this is about 15 inches of wire left. Well, about 14 by the time I wrap my loop. But the only good thing about having this much wire left is it's enough to do something with. I'm not going to have to throw it away. I'm going to be actually be able to use it. So what I'm going to do is wrap one wire around the base of the other one. And then I'm going to make a loop just like I did on the other side. Make a little loop. Just using my fingers. Until it's comparable in size to the other one. And again, this is very free form, so. And now I'm going to wrap my loop. Take the same wire that I just used to make my loop and wrap it around. And I want my wrap to look about the same as the other wrap. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this other piece, the piece that I'm not wrapping, so that I can cover it up with the other wire. Snap that off. And continue to wrap. I just need 2 more wraps. And we are good. Maybe a wrap and a half. So it looks similar to the one on the other side. And now I can clip the tail off and push that end down. There we go. And here's my bar. And remember, I said I liked using this wire because I could shape it into anything I want. I could make it into a U shape like this. I can make it a little more rounded. Like that. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I can make it nice and round like that. Then I can turn the ends out just for fun. I can make it a V shape. I mean, there are endless possibilities. That's my little piece that I'm going to use to make my necklace. And let's just get on that now. I can play with this forever. Forever. Now it's time to introduce my chain that's going to actually make it into a necklace, right? Yes. Now, I'm using some really, really pretty cable chain, and it's thick. I wanted it to be, didn't want to use a thin, narrow chain because I wanted it to be something substantial that kind of matches up with the largeness of the beads here. And these beads, even though it is a bunch of clusters, they're so lightweight that they're not going to be heavy at all. So that's really nice. All right, so what we're going to do is take our cable chain and open it up, and it's really neat because these open just like a jump ring, and I can attach it to my loop. So I'm going to grab one pair of pliers This is just the same way you open a jump ring. Put one pair of pliers on one side. I'm going to grab another pair of flat pliers because it's easier to open round chain with flat pliers. If you try to do it with round pliers, it's a little difficult. So I'm going to put one on each side. Here's the opening. Let's get down here a little closer so you can see, get a better idea of what I'm doing. So here's the opening of the cable link. There's the opening right there. I'm going to take another pair of pliers and put it on the other side of the opening and twist. So now it's nice and open. I'm going to attach it to the end of my bar, my beaded bar, and take the pliers again, one on each end, and twist it closed. Here we go. So it's nicely closed now. Can you see? I might put it down too far. There. So there's one side. Let's go to the other side. Same thing. Find the opening right there. Grab the loop, the ring, twist. And then attach it to my bar, my loop. And I'm going to just take, I think this will work. This will probably work better with these because there's a bigger, flatter plane. And I'm going to squeeze it so it's almost closed. That's another way you can do it. Then grab my pliers and finish closing. Just twisting it and pushing it closed. There we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost there. A little higher so we can get a better view. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, so I'm going to grab a jump ring now and grab my pliers. Here's another way you can open it. If this is very strong chain, so these jump rings aren't quite as heavy. So for this, I can go ahead and open it the exact same way I did this chain, or I can just put one of my pliers on one side of the opening and then take my thumb and push down to open it. I'm going to attach it to one end loop of my chain and add my lobster clasp and close it up. And what's really nice about this chain is that it's large enough that I can just attach my lobster claw clasp to it without a jump ring. And there we have it, ladies and gents. I can shape it, spend a little time shaping it any way I want. What do you think? Such an easy piece to make. And I am almost positive that you will get lots of positive comments. Let's put it on. Let's put this on a display and take a closer look. There it is. There's our statement piece. Our very free-form weaved, well, I guess it's not free-form since it's actual weave. But what could be easier than this? And I can almost guarantee that you will attract attention in a very good way whenever you wear this. I absolutely love it. And I don't regret one little bit having to do it again. Well, maybe a little bit. Anyway, I don't regret it because I got the chance to kind of switch up my design a little bit and make it, I think, even a little more punched up and beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. And I hope that you, those of you who get kits, will make one of these. And again, you'll all have the painted wood beads, but you will have different colored contrast beads. So they will not all come out the same. And again, you can shape this pretty much any way. If I wanted to shape it into an S, I could do that. If I wanted to make it more of a V shape, I could do that. If a U shape, a wide U, a more rounded U, and anything like that would absolutely work. So I hope that those of you who get kits will not only make this, but show it to me, because I really, really would love to see your vision on this particular design. So my Gmail is jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRY20@gmail.com. And I would love it if you would send me pictures of your piece, or any comments or feedback, complaints, anything like that in regard to this particular design and tutorial. I'd love to hear from you and hear what you have to say. And if you have any questions about anything else and I can answer them, I most certainly will do my best. You can also post pictures or comments on the library Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DeKalb Library. Very easy. So until next time, I hope you have a good week and a great weekend, and that you will make this piece and share your vision with me. But until then, so long, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.